The Michelle Wie. There's only one Michelle Wie, and if you are a golf lover, that's a name that you are familiar with. Her journey through the world of golf was nothing short of extraordinary. She had the talent, gave us groundbreaking achievements, and showed unwavering resilience to every challenge that was thrown her way. Michelle didn't just fall into fame like a lottery winner. She built her career brick by brick, tournaments after tournaments, wins after wins. From her early days as a child prodigy to her eventual triumphs on the LPGA Tour, Wie's career has been marked by both soaring highs and of course a few challenging lows. Now she's retired, doing something different from playing golf, a sport she once ruled the kingdom as queen. But what went wrong? In an interview with Golf, hosted by Iona Steven on YouTube, Steven had asked Michelle Wie, was there any advice that you think you regret? Maybe even if it was from a coaching point of view that you practiced, or you followed that path, then went down it and saw actually, no, this has been a waste of time. I shouldn't have done this. She replied, I can't really think of one. Wie West said on the video, I just think it's like the old school belief of you gotta hit balls until your hands bleed. I think back in the day, before you had all this science and technology, it was quantity over quality, truthfully, and it's just who can stay out there the longest. And you hear all the Tiger Woods mentality of running on the treadmill with a weighted vest, and all the stories about you take your glove off and your hands are bleeding, and that was the goal. And I wish I hadn't done that. I felt like I would have had a longer playing career with a healthier body. So that's one thing I definitely do regret, is hitting that many balls on a mat, because it wasn't even grass, it was just mat, and you're hitting off of concrete at that point. I wish I had the science and technology that the kids have access to now. That is quite touching. Michelle was born a prodigy, but these decisions were costly and they cost her her glowing career. Born October 11th, 1989 in Honolulu, Hawaii, she was fully named Michelle Sungwia and began playing golf when she was only 4 years old. Even at that age, she had shown signs of being a prodigy when, at 10, she became the youngest to qualify for a USGA Amateur Championship. You don't get to see this happen often, but Michelle was built differently. She wasn't a one-time kid wonder, because right after that, at 13 years old, she had already won the US Women's Amateur Public Links and was the youngest victor of an adult USGA organized tournament. Remember, Michelle Sung-Wee West was born in Honolulu, Hawaii to South Korean immigrant parents. She didn't exactly live a quiet life, because right from the early part of her life was abuzz with ambition, discipline, and high ambitions. Her father, Byung-Wook Wee, was a transport management professor at the University of Hawaii, and her mother, Bo Wie, was a past amateur women's golf champion in South Korea and had also participated in the Miss Korea pageant. It is safe to say that her first experience with golf was with her mother. And not just that, Michelle also inherited her mother's passion for golf and both her parents' strong work ethic just as much as their academic discipline. The Wie family home was a union of academic achievement and sports commitment. Education was greatly prized within their family, as well as achieving excellence in all pursuits. This could be seen as why Michelle was always giving her best in all that she did. While they encouraged Michelle's initial love of the sport of golf, she had to go to school. So that meant that for Michelle, it was not a choice of golf or sport. She did both. Her mother's first-hand experience within the ruthless world of golf and beauty pageantry gave Michelle an uncustomary edge. Michelle was taught early to match sports skill with poise, will, and mental toughness. Michelle's natural talent was evident from a young age. By 4, she had already mastered a golf club, and her instinctive posture and swing amazed veteran players. Her parents, especially her mother, played a key part in helping her develop. Bo Wie regularly attended Michelle's tournaments as her supporter, being right there to cheer her while guiding her daughter carefully through the early days of celebrity. Michelle, being an only child, also led her parents to give her all their total attention, since they were deeply engaged in organizing her career, especially throughout her adolescence. Her father's educational history had also helped Michelle to juggle golf with education, and despite her increasing popularity, she was still interested in education. She was topping the charts in the world of golf and still graduated from Stanford University, an Ivy League school. Michelle's childhood was also filled with the cultural heritage of the Wie family. Though she grew up in America, she was very close to her Korean heritage, and this obviously impacted on her values of modesty, self-restraint, and respect. These values from her Korean heritage stage became a part of her public image later in her life, right in the face of fame. Today, Michelle still credits her parents for never wavering in their support and giving her a foundation, emotionally and strategically, that facilitated not only an early success for her, but also built in her the strength and endurance she would need to battle through the stresses of fame, injury, and competition on the world stage. Let's look through her journey as a child prodigy. Really, she did good while growing up. Wee's advanced talent didn't stop at her wowing the audience at age 4. As young as she was as a 12-year-old, she became the youngest player in history to qualify for an LPGA Tour event, the Takafuji Classic. The following year, she made the cut at the 2003 Kraft Nabisco Championship, becoming the youngest player in history to make the cut in an LPGA major. Her 66 during the third round tied the amateur record for a women's major championship, and she finished tied for 9th and won low amateur honors. Wee's ambition went beyond women's golf. Her decision to play both men's and women's events was not received with universal acclaim. While others respected her ferocity and ambition, others criticized her bypassing and breaking the laid-down developmental paths in women's golf, one that many have followed by many, but sometimes we need a breath of fresh air, a breath of Michelle Wie. In 2004, at 14, she was the youngest female to play in a PGA Tour event, the Sony Open in Hawaii. Her second round 68 was the lowest shot by a woman in a PGA Tour event at the time, and she was just one stroke out of making the cut. The performance gained enormous attention and demonstrated her ability to play with the best. In 2006, she made history again as the first female US Open qualifying medalist when she shot a 68 in the local qualifier at Turtle Bay, Hawaii. Though she failed to qualify for the US Open, her competition broke open traditional golfing sex barriers. A week before her 16th birthday on October 5th, 2005, Wie announced that she would turn professional. She signed lucrative endorsement deals with Sony and Nike worth over $10 million annually. Expectations ran high, and Wie's life was flung to the global spotlight. Was it too fast though? But her initial years of working were spent struggling. Despite having numerous top 10 placements, she could not win on the LPGA Tour. Injuries to her wrists and ankles impacted her play and consistency. She was berated for competing against men, and the pressure to live up to the new tag she now has. She's now known as a top-rated talent. Like a champion that she is, she didn't stay long in those injuries. Her fight for change bore fruit in 2009 with her first LPGA Tour victory at the Lorena Ochoa Invitational. Her success marked a significant milestone. She was able to silence the doubters and once again re-established her position among the elite golf players. Her crowning glory came in 2014 in the US Women's Open held at Pinehurst No. 2. Wie showed immense poise, firing scores of 68-68, 72-70 to register a 2-under par score, 2 strokes better than Stacey Lewis. This was her first and only major championship win, and it came right on time to fulfill a dream come true. Following her breakthrough victory, Wie continued to play, but struggled with ongoing issues of injury. Injuries are a nightmare to any sport personalities. It takes away so much, and the mental impact? Draining. She underwent a number of surgeries and was away from the tour for an extended length of time recovering. Despite those setbacks, she didn't give up but continued to be a familiar face in golf, serving as an ambassador and role model. In March 2019, Wie got engaged to Johnny West, Golden State Warriors Director of Basketball Operations and son of NBA legend Jerry West. This is where the addition of West in her name came from. Michelle and Jerry tied the knot back in August 2019 in an intimate wedding ceremony in Beverly Hills, California. After a period of love, they welcomed their first child, a daughter named McKenna, in June 2020, and their second child, a son, in October 2024. Michelle Wie West's career is an ode to smashing barriers and overcoming conventions. Her early success motivated a generation of young golfers, and her insistence on competing in men's tournaments propelled the conversation about gender equality in athletics. Though illness cut short her time on the course, her influence extended far beyond the course itself. USGA. In 2023, Wie retired from professional golf and chose to focus on her family and other interests. She has since become a golf analyst and an advocate for women's sport, assisting in shaping the future of the game. Michelle Wie West's career in golf is a story of prodigious ability, determination, and trailblazing. From golf prodigy to major champion, her legacy remains an inspiration to players around the world. USGA. Michelle Y. West's professional golf career is a motivational story of outstanding talent, premature achievement, and showed the impact of the pressures that come with insurmountable expectations. While her childhood was marked by record-breaking triumphs, the latter part of her professional career was overshadowed instead by scandals and setbacks that resulted in a decline in her performance. What happened to Michelle W. West? Where is the child star, and how has things changed? Well, it all started in February of 2007. Wee was injured during a fall when running. Her camp initially downplayed the severity, stating that it would heal in 4 to 6 weeks. The injury became more serious than they had projected, however, with Wee finally admitting that she had 3 broken bones in her wrist. As she suffered from pain, she continued to compete, consuming as many painkillers a day just to get through the pain. This playing while hurt did not only affect her performance, but also questioned how her career and health were being handled. Wee's career was not free of controversy. In 2007, during the Ginn Tribute hosted by Annika, she withdrew from the tournament at the 16th hole due to a reported wrist injury. She was 14 strokes over par at the moment, and by withdrawing, she was charged with attempting to circumvent the LPGA rule of 88, which prevents non-members who record an 88 or better from participating in LPGA co-sponsored events for the remainder of the year. Other players questioned the validity of her injury and continued to stir up controversy around her commitment and choice making. In addition, Wee was criticized for frequently switching caddies and for the interference of her father in professional issues. Such practices were perceived by others as a reflection of instability and unprofessionalism, potentially undermining her credibility with the tour operators. That was a lot. The web of injuries and controversies began to creep into Wee's game. Her play became increasingly inconsistent with missed cuts and lower ranks on a consistent basis. By 2018, she revealed that she had arthritis in both her wrists, a condition which further prevented her from competing at the top level she used to. Despite the many and several surgeries and rehabilitation, Wee was not able to get back to her earlier self. Maybe the journey of motherhood was her wake-up. After welcoming her daughter, Wee began to rethink her priorities. In 2022, she issued a public statement that she would be stepping away from competitive golf, saying that she would be devoting more energy toward her family and health. The now former pro LPGA golfer Michelle W. West has now started to get more involved in the growth of women's sports from off the links. This she did necessarily not from the golf field, but from the comfort of her home. Earlier in May, Wee West said she became the latest athlete investor in TogetXR, the company behind the ubiquitous "Everyone Watches Women's Sports" slogan. TogetXR has a simple aim to grow investment in and coverage of women's sports, among other things. Since her retirement from active golfing, she has spent time pursuing other interests, including investing in women's sports like she has just announced. "I'm in the perfect space right now," Wee West told CNBC of her life after golf. "I feel like I'm in a place where I can make a difference. I have the time and space to do so. Golf is so important, and I'm very passionate about getting more women into the game because golf is such an amazing way to open doors in the business space," she said, signing a new deal with Mizuho. Wee West bagged a multi-year agreement as Mizuho brand ambassador and host of the Mizuho America's Open tournament earlier this week. The tournament will be contested at Liberty National Golf Club in New Jersey starting Thursday. Mizuho's new sponsorship agreement will raise the purse for the 2026 tournament to $3.25 million, one of the richest outside the majors. She might not be actively playing golf, but she's bagging some huge deals off the court. Maybe it's not so bad after all. When asked recently about how much golf she's playing these days, West had this to say: "It's definitely not a regular thing. If there's an occasion to play, then I'll play. I'm more into tennis nowadays." Michelle W. West's record is a sad example and a show of the stress brought constantly experienced by young athletes pushed early into the spotlight. In a recent interview with Golf.com, when asked if she could go back 15 years and tell Michelle W. something, what would it be? Michelle said, "I've dealt with a lot of injuries, so maybe just be a little bit more careful. Listen to your physical therapist. Take your time. But I think you have to make those mistakes, right? If you live your life mistake-free, that's weird. You won't grow as a person, and it sounds really cliche, but I'm really grateful for the mistakes that I have made in my past. There were some painful moments, but that just made me who I am. Great expectations were established after her early success. And while she did experience significant achievements, including winning a major title at at the 2014 US Women's Open. Michelle's golf career experiences would make one understand the complexities that come with having a professional sporting life. When asked in an interview back in March what teenage Michelle Y of 20 years ago can teach the young people today, she had said, "I would love anyone, and the girls especially, to take away from my career that there isn't just one way to success. There are many. In fact, success itself can have many meanings. I want girls to know that they can take whatever course they choose, even if there are people out there telling them it's not conventional or normal to do so. I hope they do what they want because there are so many ways to get to do what you want to do." Will things have ended differently for Michelle if she didn't experience those injuries? Will there be another Michelle Wie West soon? For more stories like this, like and subscribe to our channel now.